that place. We were coming back from a show at Black Lodge. We saw Thrones. That's who was just playing, right? And we saw Thrones, and we were coming back from this show. We walked right by it, and the doors open. This two guys throw a guy out.
Testing.
Throw him, and he fell on his face and broke his teeth open.
What place is this?
El Corazon.
That's neat. That's great.
On switch. That place is so
I think it's.
I'm gonna switch on the mic. It's on. No, up is definitely on.
Okay, cool.
And I want to Voivod, they're like one of my favorite metal bands, and they played their.
I'm actually not the person who does, but nobody else is.
Oh yeah, I understand.
You know?
Is the volume good on that?
I can't tell. I mean, like, you're just technically on, but it's and that's
Are you a licensed chiropractor?
The breakfast.
Is this the main out? It will never stop.
Oh. It will.
Try it. Is it working?
Oh, this.
It can't rain all the time.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, in Seattle, I totally can.
I think it works, right?
Testing.
Exactly as the
I'm probably loud enough that I probably don't completely need it. Oh, I see.
That's a line.
There we go. Yeah.
Why is it making that noise? Is there a phone next to it?
I said it can't rain all the time.
Turn this on.
It reminded me of this poem that I was doing in 6th grade. That was really fucking goth, emo. We had to read some poem in front of
Yeah, that
class.
person probably watched the crowd.
Well, they were some famous poet.
Maybe the crowd
It's
was from
playing. I
that.
don't know what it's supposed to do.
Actually,
sure.
there was something almost like that.
I don't like being like.
I think Sudi mentioned
It's down in your gums, but not your teeth.
I know it's got to be there
Your teeth are safe.
Oh, this thing's weird.
I think I might just have to have it as the background of this, or I guess
Okay.
Whoa.
Is that me?
Oh no, that was weird. Oh, it was a pre-recorded thing. My bad.
Pre-recorded versus saying okay. I didn't think that was my voice. That'd be funny if somebody lip-sync the stand-up set.
It would be. All right.
You could have somebody right next to you lip syncing it.
All right. I mean, sorry.
It's all good.
All right. I think it should work now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Alright. Okay. Alright, so my stage name is Michael Bellevue, and yeah, so I used to work at this nursing home where I tried to learn the languages of all the other people who worked there, and a number of them spoke Tagalog. Does anybody here know Tagalog? That's okay, that's usually what happens. But anyway, one of the nurses one day, she said, he's Kiki, referring to me, and I was thinking oh wow, what does Kiki mean? And then all the nurses just giggled, so then I was really curious, oh wow, if all of them are giggling at it, then I really want to know what this word means. So then I googled Kiki, and Google just says that Kiki means vagina in Tagalog. So I tried to do the math mentally in my head on what it could possibly mean for me to be a vagina. So I was thinking maybe she thought I was handsome, that I was constantly in contact, that I became one, or maybe one of my other theories is that because that nurse laughs at all my jokes, my theory was that the nurse was telling me that I'm warm and entertaining. And then I guess another thing is I have a disability, though it's not being a vagina, though I guess it would be really challenging to be a vagina because I don't think that's one of the officially registered disabilities, so it'd be really hard to get benefits for being a vagina, and it'd also be really hard to operate a wheelchair as a vagina because I'm pretty sure based on past experience that vaginas don't have thumbs or whatever to be able to operate a wheelchair. But anyway, I went on a date in February 2022 where somebody the person said, like, even after the day was over and stuff, they said they really enjoyed it and stuff. That was really fun to talk with me. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So then I'd asked, like, a day or two later about going on another date, and the person said that they weren't interested in it going on another date, and I was surprised, but, like, I was thinking, like, because I thought, like, it had gone well, and she was like, yeah, she was like, it had gone well, but she said that I didn't have confidence or self-love, and I was thinking, like, oh, wow, that's not something I expected to hear at all, because, like, but anyway, like, she was really cool, though. She spent the next 2 weeks explaining social interaction to me, which is actually, like, a really helpful thing when you don't understand social interaction, and, like, I know that she had to have been autistic, because the thing about it is that, like, I feel like if you ask somebody who's neurotypical to explain aspects of social interaction, I feel like they're just gonna say, like, oh, you just do what you do, or it just comes naturally, or whatever, and they just assume that everything just comes naturally. So anyway, like, she explained social interaction for 2 weeks, and, like, I feel like a lot of people after says have been like, oh, that's not how it works, they'll be like, say it's wrong or whatever, but then it's like, no, like, it does make a difference if you apologize a million times or whatever, or versus not apologizing a million times, because, like, I am a confident person, but if you apologize too much, people will think that you're not confident at all, so, like, you aren't supposed to apologize if, like, a grocery cart bumps into you or whatever, like, that looks bad, I guess. And then, like, also, like, what else? I know that the advice you gave was legit, because, like, in November 2022 was the first time somebody told me that they love me non-platonically, which that was really cool, but it was also really cool, too, that even though I'm autistic, I still know enough about social interaction that just because somebody who's known you for, like, 2 or 3 weeks tells you that they love you doesn't mean you have to, like, devote yourself to them and be in a relationship with them, that you can just decide to not be with that person or whatever. And then, like, what else? Like, I guess I didn't put this in my set notes, but, like, it's significant too. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, if you Google, like, how to get a boyfriend or how to get a girlfriend or anything like that, it's really bad advice. Like, some of the advice for how to get a boyfriend, they'll say, like, don't do this thing because that's too direct and obvious. I was thinking, like, what? Like, what do you mean too direct and obvious? Like, almost every women's forum has at least some posts occasionally about people being like, I did this and he still doesn't know I'm into him. What do I do? And I'm thinking, like, well, it's obvious that hinting isn't working. Like, why would you hint at things if you wanted someone to know something? That's really wild to me, but, like, it's like, it seems like it would be the opposite. Like, you would hint at things if you were trying to send, like, secret messages between foreign agents in a country or whatever. Like, that would be a good time to hint things. Like, if you're trying to, like, get, like, nuclear secrets abroad or whatever, like, just maybe, like, blink it out of Morse code or whatever. But you look at how to get a boyfriend and it'll say stuff like, smile and blink at him and stuff, and it's like, sure, like, after reading it, it's like, oh, okay, they're definitely, well, that's the thing too about being an autism spectrum. There's sometimes in the past that somebody wanted a relationship with me, but I just find out, like, maybe 5 years later or so, like, I guess I'm kind of spoiling the story or whatever, but, like, at one point in the past, this is a favorite of one of my friends here, like, I do have a car now, but I used to not have one, and, like, which I guess that's everybody used to not have a car, but anyway, I hope that nobody's getting born with a car, that would be bad, but anyway, like, so, like, this is before I understood social interaction. I decided to, like, get Tinder Premium and hope that somehow money could fix things, and then, like, I, like, decided to swipe on, maybe it was like a 100-mile radius or so, whatever, like, the max radius was. And after, I wasn't, like, looking, I was, like, watching movies and stuff. I had pirated some movies. I was watching, like, it was, like, the theater pirated thing, so there's still, like, commercials in it. Even though it's, like, a movie, like the first Star Wars movie, if you look at one of the pirated versions, there's, like, gambling advertisements, like, mixed into the Star Wars one. But anyway, like, it's also filmed on somebody's camera in the theater or whatever. But anyway, like, so, like, I kept swiping for a few days, and, like, eventually I matched with somebody who lived in Poulsbo while I lived in Federal Way at the time, so, like, I took a bus, and then a train, and then a ferry, and then 2 more buses, and to make the trip shorter, so it had already been 3 hours, but, like, she, like, picked me up in her car and drove me to her place, and then, like, we were sitting on the couch, and then her roommate left, so I'm sure you know what happened then. Like, obviously, her and I babysat her roommate's kid for an hour or 2, and then, like, I'm pretty sure that's, like, every first date, you babysit the person's roommate's kid for a little while, like, even though you've never met her or the roommate or the kid before, but, like, and then, like, I guess other cool first date things, like, she was like, hey, do you want to have dinner? I was like, oh yeah, okay. So like she drove me to her parents' place, and like her parents weren't home, but like I'm sure you know what happened then. Like her grandma didn't speak English, so like I just practiced my Spanish and also watched Golden Girls with her grandma. So that was kind of cool. Like I feel like not many people are lucky enough to watch Golden Girls on a first date. Like I'm pretty sure not everybody experiences that. And then, like, I don't know how the grandma was enjoying, because I didn't really think about that till later. Like, I should have been trying to translate Golden Girls to her in Spanish, but I didn't. But some things are just more obvious in hindsight, like when people hint that they're attracted to you or whatever. But anyway, like, one of the cool things on the date, too, is that, like, so if any of you knew me before, like, 2017 or so, I used to wear glasses, and I would always wear these button-up shirts and, like, these tan pants and stuff. I sort of had, like, a sort of uniform of a cycle through these outfits. And the thing about it is, like, her dad's name was also Michael, and he also wore glasses. He also had a button-up shirt, tan pants, and he was, like, the same height as me. He was, like, exactly like me, except her dad was Jewish. But other than that, everything about him was, like, the same as me, sort of. Like, he was really fun to talk with, too. So then, like, I had dinner with her parents, and her grandma, and also her sister was there, and, like, that was one of the cool things, too, is that, like, I didn't realize it at the time, but like it took me like 5 years or so later to realize what her sister was hinting at during the dinner. Like her sister was like bring things up from the past, and like I didn't really register in my brain at the time, but a few years later I realized it. Like her sister would say things like, hey, do you remember that time you strangled me? And like a bunch of like other things like that. And then like in my brain, like I was just thinking like, oh, these are weird sibling rivalry things to be mentioned. Like I grew up an only child, so like I'm not really familiar with eating dinner with siblings or whatever. What kind of things siblings might say to each other. So like I was fascinated that she's mentioning that there's a leadership. But anyway, like whatchamacallit, like yeah, I realized that like 5 years later that her sister was like desperately trying to save me during the dinner by hinting things to me, and then like, but anyway, like so we were at the dinner, and then like after it's over, like she drunk drove me to her back to her place. Like she was in the line started, but she was drinking alcohol while she was driving. But like I survived, so that's cool. And like and then like and so then what happened next was like yeah, like that was another thing that I didn't realize until like a few years later, like maybe 4 or so years later. Like I realized that like she had tried to hint at me that she wanted to have sex. That I guess like 4 years, it's not that long of a time to take to realize that or whatever. But like I'm really glad, because the way I look at it is I feel like my autism saved me. I feel like a lot of people have this weird mindset of like sex being everything, but it's like it can be a pleasant experience, but ideally you don't want to get murdered. And also some people aren't murdery the first time you meet them are dangerous, but then like maybe the second or third or fourth time you meet them they're kind of dangerous or whatever. So like because my autism prevented me from realizing that she was hinted that she wanted to have sex with me and stuff, I feel like that's why she didn't want to go on a second date. I feel like that's what potentially, like I don't think she would have murdered me, but maybe she would have flipped out at some point, because that's what her sister had been hinting that took me like 5 years to realize. Which that's another thing too. So like I guess I'll like, get canceled by these people if I mention this. So like I guess I might be getting recorded by that one, but like I don't know, I guess I'll like chance it. Like there's like those of you who know me might know that like I sail a lot. Like I'm like there are like about 2 black people in Seattle that sail, and I'm one of them. And like I say it's like I'm pretty sure it's 2, like, because I met one other person who sails. There used to be this other guy who sailed too, but then he got a leg injury, and I haven't seen him sailing anymore since then. That's been like 8 years. I feel like that makes it safe to say they're like 2 black people who sail. But anyway, like with these people, like I kind of want to show people the text messages because I find them funny. But anyway, like so like I used to volunteer with this sailing race, and like I had no idea that I was upsetting people until I got a text message after what was like the 3rd strike or whatever. I guess I was supposed to be bringing things as like food or whatever, which I did find out. But the way I found out is that like I wasn't told like before I started volunteering, but like after I've been volunteering a bit, like at one point I brought these 2 women I'm friends with me, and then like after the event was over, they were like, hey, Michael, I think they were talking about us. I was like, well, what do you mean? It was like, well, they mentioned that people should be bringing things to the event as like a group announcement or whatever. But then I was thinking, like, that's weird. Like, I've came to this event multiple times. They never told me before that I was supposed to bring anything. I feel like they would have told me that directly, but I just decided to, like, take my friend's word for it and just start bringing food and stuff. Then, like, eventually, like, whatchamacallit, like, this is kind of like a weird story. It's like one night, like the person who's normally like owns the boat that the race is like administrated from, like a referee boat sort of, like, which is the boat I'd usually been on. Like, he had to go home early, so we switched to a different boat. And like asked 2 people on that boat if like the sushi that was on that boat, if that was for sharing or whatever, and they said, oh, I don't know, like ask someone else. So they asked this third person. I heard yes, and I thanked her for it and started eating the sushi and stuff. And then 24 hours later, I got a text message that apparently I wasn't supposed to be eating that, and I got accused of like not ever having asked about it, eating the sushi or whatever. And then also I guess like it turned out that like, I don't know, they're saying repeated behavior of like consuming without contributing. And it was like this really long, like several paragraphs, and I was thinking like, wow, this is a lot of information that seems like you would tell the person when they first do something wrong rather than like waiting a long time. Like, that's really fascinating. It's like, it happens in dating and in other things too. It's really, but I guess like maybe a better story too is like, I don't know, I personally find that story funny, even though those people will be like, hey, rah, 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 if they like see this on video or whatever. But anyway, like, that's what like I told some friends about it. They're like, wait, are you telling me that they canceled the only black person who sales? I was like, oh wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. But anyway, like this other thing, so like I used to have this job where I taught computer science to kids. That's like usually when I do this set I don't say that, but the company doesn't exist anymore, so I guess I don't really feel as bad about it eventually or whatever. But anyway, at a job where I taught computer science to kids, and like at one point like there was this person who was newer than me who got promoted above me even though he was newer. So like he had like asked the boss, he was like, hey, why isn't Michael getting this? He's been here longer than me. And then the boss was like, don't tell Michael this, but he's disorganized, and because of that I think you should get it. And then like my friend like just sent me the screenshots and stuff. I was thinking like, wait, if I'm disorganized, why wouldn't my boss just tell me I'm not doing the right thing or whatever? But like, I don't know, to me that's really funny, the idea of a boss keeping secrets about worker productivity. Like, this worker is doing the wrong thing, but we're never gonna tell him. But we'll tell other people. The same thing with like the sushi thing and other things. Like, people were talking about me, saying I was doing the wrong thing, but not telling me, but telling other people. Like, I don't know, like, okay, but I have funnier things. Like, some people seem sad, and I don't want you to be sad. So like, a cool thing about after that woman explained dating to me is that like, I had this experience where I saw my whole life for like, I actually forgot how long it was. It was like either 20 minutes or something like that. Like, I saw my whole life, and I didn't believe that I saw my whole life. Like, I feel like sometimes like when you get a bunch of like events that have happened to you like in your head or whatever, like it can like cause something like this. It's only happened to me once in my life, and I'm 30, so I'm glad it's only happened once. But anyway, it was cool though. Like, so like I didn't believe it. So like I contacted a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, was your password 17 years ago? Was your password 130942732? And he was like, oh yeah, that was my password 17 years ago. I was like, oh wow, I guess when I saw my whole life, I guess that was accurate. But anyway, like, that wasn't actually his password 17 years ago. Like, I feel like that'd be bad to tell somebody's password to a crowd of people, even if it's like only less than 30 people. But like, that was actually his social security number. But no, that wasn't his social security number either, but it would be kind of cool if it was. Especially if it was a number so easy to remember. Like, that's a really easy to remember number. And anyway, like, what else was it? Oh yeah, like, it is kind of fascinating too, because like, sometimes I worry when I do stand-up that people think it's like, oh, woe is me, like, autism has prevented these things. But like, not only did it save me from abusive relationships that could have happened to me because I couldn't like see the hints of somebody's sister trying to warn me desperately or whatever, but other than autism saving me from that, I feel like autism, well yeah, that was what I was getting for, is that like, so that's the thing, is like, if you're over apologetic and like too selfless and traits like that, it makes it seem like you don't have confidence or self-love. And like, it's really fascinating how like, if I had been like a cis het woman, that would have potentially caused me to be a bunch of abusive relationships. It wouldn't like necessarily happen, but it seems to be a pattern. So like, it's definitely, I don't see it as like a whole woe is me thing, which I always feel like this inclination to only say educational things, but I should try to also do jokes too. Like, it's really hard to balance between wanting to say cool educational facts and things that like, and then too, like, I don't have good handwriting and stuff, so like that makes this hard also. So like, oh yeah, after one of my sets one time, somebody said, don't worry, you'll be confident one day, which is kind of weird. Like, I guess I could share a secret with you guys. Like, I feel like it takes confidence to do stand-up comedy. Like, I could be wrong, but a lot of people say that they can't do stand-up because they aren't confident enough, but it seems like that to me. But like, what else was it? Like, I have the word Montreal on here, and I can't remember. Oh, I remember what it was now. So like one time in Montreal, like there's this. I like met this woman at a festival, and like I hung out with her a bit and stuff. And then like the next day, I was with her and this group of women, and like this woman like she said something I didn't completely understand. She said, "I want to get fucked like a." I have no idea what the last word was. So I asked her again, like what did you say? And then she said, "I want to get fucked like a." And like I still don't understand, but I just like assumed I understood enough of it, and so I just like raised my hand and said like, "Oh, I think I could do that." And then like and then she was like, "Oh, you're way, way, way too nice for me," which like that's like an interesting thing too. Is like it's not about necessarily people being bad people or good people or whatever. It's more like the amount of this is somebody is selfless or whatever. It can potentially make them look like they don't have self-love or whatever. But like, I don't know, like it's one of those things. Like I'm still friends with her too. Like I like only was volunteering just because like as a friend, like not anything more than that. I wasn't like interested beyond like as friends or whatever. But like, I feel like depending on the friend, I would be down to like help them with things. And then that's like another wild thing too. Like I spent 8 weeks in Montreal last year, and like it was cool. I lived on top of a bar, and like there lately I was this woman I met in 2022 from Paris, and like she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back to France to see family and friends. Like you can have my bedroom for 6 weeks. Then once I get back, you can like stay with in my roommate's room who's moving out or whatever." But anyway, like it's really fascinating how friendly people are there. Like you can only know somebody for like 3 days, and they'll let you like move into their place or whatever. But anyway, like whatchamacallit, like it was cool too. Like she had a bunch of plants, and like I made sure that 95% of the plants in her bedroom survived. Like I wish it was 100%, but like if she's still friends with me, I guess like she's not pissed about the 5% of the plants that died. Like rest in peace for those plants. Like it was like one plant, but anyway, like so like a cool experience I had is like I was at the bar under the apartment, and like there was this woman who grabbed my hand. She was a friend of mine. I'd never met her before or whatever, but she like grabbed my hand and asked me to dance. I was like, "Oh, cool, like yeah, sure, I'll dance." Like we danced for a while, and then after she got tired, she was like, "Are you an artiste?" And then I said like, "Oh yeah, I am an artiste. I do poetry and stand-up comedy." And then like, does anybody here know French? So artiste does not mean artist. Artiste means autistic. So she had danced with me and then asked me if I was autistic. And then like, I realized what she meant because like she looked really confused at me. So then I realized what she meant. I was like, because I'm not fluent by no suffers, but anyway, like I was like, "Oh yeah, I am autistic." And then she was like, "Oh, me too." Like, and then she's like, "It's so obvious that you're autistic." And she was like waving her hand like this, while like looking at my clothes and stuff. And like, which is interesting because like that's something I think a lot of people don't realize, that how different every city is. Like, there's never been a time that anybody in any other city in the world has like grabbed my hand, asked me to dance, then asked me if I was autistic. That person has also been autistic. But I met a lot of cool French-speaking autistic people in Montreal, so that was awesome. And then like, I think everybody should go there, even if not just for the French-speaking autistic people. It's just like a lot of good qualities about Montreal. Then like, what else was it like? Oh yeah, like for like when I've done online dating, like I've had it in my profile where it says like I'm the first person in my family's history to sail voluntarily, and like I think some people like they take it the wrong way. At least one person did. Like there was one person who like if anybody doesn't understand, like there's this event that happened about 200, 300 years ago where people of my complexion like involuntarily sailed across the Atlantic to North America, and like. But it's okay though, like I forgive you guys for it, like it's no problem. But like anyway, like whatchamacallit, like one time like a woman messaged me like on the dating app or whatever. She's like, "Hey, your bio, like that's not my whole bio, but it's like that one sentence." I knew what she was talking about. She said, "Is that a slavery joke?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it is." And she immediately unmatched me. But like, I don't know, that's one thing I like too. Like different places in the world, people have a better sense of humor. Like if I was a white person saying that would be weird to make slavery jokes. But like if it was literally my ancestors and her ancestors too, she was black. I don't see how you would get offended by somebody being the first person in your family's history. I feel like it's like so you're like reclaiming the N-word, but reclaiming sailing, sort of like. Especially too, like some of the first people to sail were Egyptians, so like it's theorized that sailing started in Africa. So I feel like it's reclaiming sailing on multiple levels. Except for when people like think you ate their sushi without asking and then like cancel you for it, even though you're the only black person who sales or whatever. Like, oh, like if I had known, I wouldn't have eaten it. But oh well. Completely off topic, but like, if any of you have a car, you guys need to get a Canadian oil change because it's on a whole nother level than American oil changes. So like, if you go to someplace like Jiffy Lube in the US, they're gonna charge you like $110 or so, and they're just gonna change your oil. Your oil change is just gonna change your oil. If you go to some of these Canadian places, like there's this Canadian place, I'm not even joking, this is called Mr. Lube. You go there and like you pull up, they say, hey, would you like coffee or water? And I'll be like, the first time I was like, oh, like how much does it cost? I'll be like, oh, it's free. It's like free coffee or water that you get with it. And then like also like, but I don't like coffee. But anyway, like that's not important. But like, with the oil change, like they don't just do your oil. It's like a whole experience. Like they check your lights, they check your coolant. Some of the places they'll even like wash your car a little bit, like the windows and stuff. Like they'll like do like almost everything you can think of to your car. Like, and it's like insane. Like there's nothing like a Canadian oil change. I feel like a Canadian, the American oil change, I feel like it's like a bad date, sort of like mildly bad, like it's like the bare minimum sort of date. But then the Canadian oil change, it's also cheaper significantly. It'll be like maybe like $40-50 cheaper than your average American oil change, plus them checking. Oh, they'll even check the engine too. They'll have you gas up to like 2,000 RPM while you're in park so that they can check the engine. So like, you don't have to go there. Like I'm not saying it's necessary, but like if you really love your car and stuff and you feel like you aren't fully confident in yourself or the other people around you for like checking your car and want to have people with the accent maybe check your car for you, it's a worthwhile experience. But like yeah, so like I back in January of like a while back, like this is 2023, I was at this dance and like there's this woman who has started dancing with me, and like I feel like I could tell that she was gay, and like it was interesting. I was kind of thinking in my head, like, I wonder how I'll get her to tell me that she's gay. And like, at one point we were sitting on this couch and our thighs were touching or whatever. And then like, I was like, I decided I would hint at her. So like, this jacket that I'm wearing now, it's like a women's size 6. I just decided to like mention that, like, oh yeah, this jacket is a women's size 6. It was gifted to me by one of my friends who's lesbian. And like, I know a lot of, I don't know, like, I feel like I handed at it more casually than that or whatever, like less awkwardly. But anyway, eventually like I hinted well enough that she was like, oh yeah, I am gay. But the thing is like, she like described her sexuality to me. So she was saying that like, her words were, I love men, but, no, she said, I love women, but I like to fuck men and break their hearts. And I was thinking like, oh wow, it's like a really cool thing for somebody to be like that straightforward about, like, because like, especially too, is I'd rather only be with somebody where it was actually something special rather than the person intentionally trying to break my heart or whatever. But like, maybe that's autism saving me, maybe that's just being eccentric saving me, like I'm not really sure, but I feel like I couldn't really get heartbroken. I feel like that's not something that's possible to happen to me. And then, what is it? Oh yeah, so like a few weeks ago, like, so I've been addicted to Canada. I've been driving up there every weekend this year except for 3, and like at one point like I had another car experience, so like I paid some people to like look at my car or whatever because something was wrong with it. I like gave them my keys, and the thing about my keys, I always keep these attached to myself so I don't lose them. And the thing about it is like I actually like ended up, I was in the like the most I'd say it's not dangerous. I've been there a lot and haven't been attacked or anything, but maybe if I was like a 5 foot tall woman, maybe it would be dangerous. But anyway, like it's like what people consider the most dangerous part of Vancouver, and like I locked my keys in the car, and then like I was thinking like, oh wow, what am I gonna do? And so like I saw this social work. I knew it because she was wearing a badge, and like I asked her, I was like, hey, like I locked my keys in my car. I'm American. I like mentioning I'm American a lot when I'm up there. It's fun. But anyway, like I said, I locked my keys in my car and stuff. Like, what should I do? And the social worker was like, well, she like showed me her phone, like showed me some phone numbers and stuff. And she was like, well, you know what the cheaper thing was? Like, if you're feeling adventurous or whatever, like you see everybody walking around you on this street here. And I was looking around, and she's like, well, this thing is like anybody you see on the street could get your keys out of your car for you. Some might charge you like $10 or $20, some might do it for free. And I was like, oh well, I guess I'll do that. So like I decided to do like a two-pronged method, so to speak, of like I called the locksmith, but also like asked around saying like, hey, does anybody want to make $10 or $20? Like my keys are locked in my car. And like I shouted that a few times, and some people stared at me, and then like some people came up to me and they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then like it took like the effort of multiple people, sort of, but like one person was like the main person, and like he got my car open, and then like whatchamacallit, so then like I walked to the ATM with the guy, because like the thing was I had 20 American in here. It's like, oh, I don't want 20 American, I want 20 Canadian. I was like, oh, well, the American is worth more. Are you sure you want 20 Canadian? It's like, yeah, I want 20 Canadian. It's like 20 Canadian, it's like 16 American dollars. I know that's not important or funny, but like I have a habit of mentioning facts even when they aren't things that people care about. Like I feel like part of autism is saying things that people don't care about. But anyway, like, so we get to the ATM and I give him the $20, and then he's like, that's it? Why not give me $100? And I just said, oh, thank you, goodbye. The thing is, too, is like, so this guy, he was like maybe this tall or so he was significantly larger than me, but like I'm not afraid of people who are taller than me, like, which is like a weird thing too, because like I know some women who are tall that I'm friends with, and like one of them I was talking with her about dating, she was like, oh yeah, short guys are afraid of tall women, and I was thinking like, that's weird. Like, not only am I not afraid of men who like threatened to break my legs and asked for $100, but also like my first kiss was with a woman who was taller than me, and I was standing on my toes when I had my first kiss. I was 21 years old, which is not completely, I guess that sort of paints a story. Like I was 21 years old, standing on my toes, getting my first kiss, and then like onto like another thing, I guess. Like, oh, that's another cool thing. So like, this part is challenging to do. Like, I don't know, this is like over describing things, because like you shouldn't say that people look sad at this, but maybe if I say it beforehand, people will be less likely to look sad. So the thing about it is like, I had my idea of how I'd get my first kiss was like, I'd had other ideas. I had all sorts of ideas over the years, but one of the ideas I had was like, this is like right a few months before my first kiss. I had the idea of like, okay, like if supposedly I'm not confident, even though I do feel confident, but supposedly I'm not confident. At the time I didn't know that confidence was a thing that most people who feel confident, their body language just automatically does it, but I felt confident when my body language didn't automatically do it. But anyway, like, so like, my idea was like, okay, I'm gonna audition to be a stripper, then somehow from auditioning to be a stripper, I'll be seen as confident, I'll get my first kiss or whatever. So I did audition as a stripper, and the person said I was too skinny and wasn't good enough at dancing, so like, I didn't, but the guy did say that if I came back in 30 days and had larger muscles and better at dancing, that I could be a stripper, but like, I decided against that because I love reading about facts nobody cares about too much to like actually go through with that. But anyway, like, so yeah, I auditioned to be a stripper, and then I decided, like, send a message like, oh, like, I appreciate the offer of the 30-day thing and stuff, but like, so anyway, I ended up getting my first kiss like a few months after that, which I don't think it was an impact, but like, I think that affected her perception of me, sort of, in the sense that after my first kiss, like, I had told her it was my first kiss, and like, she didn't really acknowledge it or whatever, but then later, like, I don't know, I think it took her a while, like a few hours before I registered. She's like, wait a minute, when you said first kiss, what do you mean by that? I was like, well, like my first kiss ever. She's like, whatever? Like, what? I thought you had sex before. Which I feel like that's like the funniest thing to hear after your first kiss is I thought you had sex before. Like, I feel like the humanity has existed for basically our current form for about 200,000 years. Imagine in 200,000 years, I imagine probably like the only person where the person has said like, I thought you had sex before immediately after getting their first kiss, or like heard that from someone else after getting their first kiss. But like, oh, for me that's ridiculously hilarious. It's like, there's nothing funnier that somebody could say afterwards, but like, everybody's different though, like everybody's different. And then like, what else? So like this, oh yeah, so like I went on a date in 2022, so like here's an interesting thing. So like before I got a car, like there's this woman who like I was interested in going on a date with, but she said she wouldn't want to go on a date with me because I didn't have a car, and more specifically that she lives in Olympia and I live far away. I was just thinking I shouldn't like pay for Uber or Lyft or whatever. So a few months after that, not rejection, but sort of half rejection, I got a car and messaged her a few months later. I was like, okay, I bought a car now. And then she's like, oh, okay, like, and then we talked more and stuff, and then like I drove to Olympia, and like she was late and I was early, and this was at a mall in Olympia, and there was a library at the mall, and I feel like I saw the most Olympia thing I'd ever seen. The librarian had knuckle tattoos. Can anybody guess what the knuckle tattoos the librarian had said? The knuckle tattoos said read more. Oh, what was your guess? Huh?
I said read life.
Oh, nice. Read life is a good one. Yeah, that would be really... Maybe there was another... I didn't meet all the librarians. I only met one of them. But, like, I feel like read more knuckle tattoos, like the most Olympia thing you could see. But, like, especially on the librarian or whatever in Olympia. But anyway, like, yeah, so then, like, we had the date and stuff. And, like, it was interesting to me, too. Like, on the date, like, one of the things that she said on the date was she said, like, Is this a have you ever been on a date where somebody mentions that they don't have a disability, but they mention it out of nowhere? So she, on the date, like just out of nowhere, she said like, "I'm not autistic, but all 5 of my brothers are. I'm the normal one," which is funny to me because I hadn't brought up, I never told her that I was autistic, but like I feel like when she said that, that told me that she was autistic. That and like she had like a dozen other signs of being on the autism spectrum. But it would be cool though if more people who are autistic knew that they were autistic, because like she totally was. But like I wish I could remember more of the things. Like she had a bunch of cool facts and stuff, but that was 2 years ago now, so I can't remember all the cool facts that she had. She had lots of cool facts. But anyway, like, oh yeah, okay, so like my first New Year's kiss was when 2018 was becoming 2019, and like, it's kind of weird how like people can have some assumptions about people, and like, so like after the New Year's kiss, like I was talking with the person and stuff, like she had been making out with me multiple times before the kiss, and it was interesting, but then like, I ended up like asking her on a date or something that same night, like afterwards, and then like she seemed really confused, and then like we talked more, and I discovered that she had kissed me because she thought I was gay, and I wasn't wearing this, I was wearing something that looked straighter than this outfit or whatever. And I was like, I'm not completely gay, but like also like I guess she was gay and wanted to make out with someone who was gay, but like she thought I was gay but didn't ask me if I was gay or not. And like yeah, I feel like that's also like one of the most unique New Year's kisses someone can have. I imagine like almost nobody has gotten kissed by someone because they thought that they were a sexuality that's not attracted to their specific sex or whatever. And then like, what was it? Like, what was I gonna do? Oh my god. Oh yeah, so I guess I'll end on this one. So like, this is a really hot take. I guess a really hot take in more than one way, but I feel like autistic people are better at having sex than everybody else. Because I feel like that's the thing, is that like ideally in sex people know what each other want and are able to directly communicate. I feel like autistic people are better at that. Like, I don't know, like, I think the only person who's ever showed me this is like an autistic person, the idea of like grabbing someone's hips to just like show them what rhythm they want or whatever. Like there's so many things that autistic people innovate on that the rest of the world hasn't picked up on yet, that it seems like it'd be so much better than like some people like who are neurotypical. Like they'll only tell you something like a week or even months later or whatever, which is really weird to me. Like why would you not tell someone something if it was important to you like that? Like this seems really absurd to me. Like and then like what was it, like yeah, like I feel like that's the thing too, is like a lot of autistic people care about being correct, and that's the hard thing about doing stand-up if you're autistic, is you want to present facts and be correct about those facts and include adjacent facts that makes you think of, which is good in a sense. Like if somebody wanted to be good at intimacy, they should mention what their needs are and stuff, but then like and so many other things, it just like sort of breaks flow sort of to like have facts in it and stuff. Like it's fascinating how that works. Like there was this one woman I met like a year ago or whatever who she's one of those people who I think was autistic but didn't know it or whatever, but like it was weird. Like I didn't believe her. She was like 8 years older than me or so, but she said I was better at sex than anyone she had ever had sex with, and I didn't believe her because she was 8 years older than me. So I was thinking it just doesn't make sense if she's 8 years older than me. She should have had something. And then, like I tried to like do the math on it in my head, and I was thinking like, wait a minute, like have you ever had sex with a woman before? And then she's like, no. And then I was like oh well, she'd only had sex with like super cis het men or whatever, and I was like, oh, that makes the math work in my head sort of, at least based on what women tell me about their experiences with various gender identities and stuff, like that, like the math works out for that in my head. But that's the thing, like it's so weird, like there are all those like alpha male people like Andrew Tate and stuff on social media and stuff, and then it's like intimacy isn't about being some like giant hulking like Neanderthal dragging a club on the ground or whatever. Like communication matters more, so that's how like lesbian or like women who are queer tend to be better at helping women achieve certain physical achievements than like a stereotypical cis het men or whatever. So like that's also not funny, but just sadly factual. I apologize for all the sad faces I'm seeing right now. Like I apologize for all the sad experiences that just brought to head for people. Like hopefully like we come to a future where everyone's autistic and then everybody has really good physical intimacy, where there's really good communication and listening and achievement of like self-love and love for others and altruism and all the other good qualities that people can have at the levels that they wish. Like everybody has different levels of all the other things they want and desire and stuff, but like I will end my set on those factual information aspects that aren't quite hilarious, except to one of my favorite people in the audience, who won't mention my name, but is one of the best people I've ever met. And I really appreciate everybody for like listening through for the facts and the funny things. Thank you. Oh, I forgot I was going to like put this on at some point, just like no reason really. Like I just thought it'd be cool to just randomly have an outfit change here. Like it's technically not an outfit change. I'm still wearing the original outfit, but like it's kind of cool. Like I should make sure my keys don't fall off too. Yeah.
Really good.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, that was 36 minutes, so if it felt like it was long, that's because it was long. Actually, now it's 37 minutes, so yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Well done, Michael.
Yeah,
Thank you so
appreciate it.
You're allowed to snap.
Yeah.
Other than Andrew.
They are cheaper.
Next time Andrew does a noise snap.
Yeah, just talk down.
Like everyone should snap.
That might be around like $30, but like I feel like a lot of them are